New highs coming in for us this week, 749.53. We're almost at that big psych level of 750. We're going to see if we can kind of go up and hit that sooner rather than later, but that is going to be a big spot for us just because it's a nice psych level, right? 750, it just sounds good. We're going to see if we can get that here with our earnings catalyst coming up in NVIDIA. We're going to see if the overall market can push that high, or are we going to start to kind of fade around? So remember how we acted when we got close here to these 700s. It took us forever to get past those 697, 698, things like that. Let's see if we're going to repeat that as we get closer to these 750s, right? So is 750 going to be the new 700? Are we going to be kind of sticking up here for a while? Do we need a sharp, big, rigid pullback in here to kind of reset things for our next run up? Or are we just kind of be sitting up here, just kind of waiting on the overall Iran, Middle East news to see what's going to happen with that Strait of Hormuz and see if things are going to skyrocket or not? I don't know, but we have to keep that in the back of our mind as we're looking here. But all in all we care about is going to be that 750 psych level is going to be a harsh resistance for us in here in the future. Now we're trading down below that 740 psych level. That's we're here at 739. So first up, resistance wise, 740. Anything outside of that, we're looking at 749. To the downside in here, what are we going to be looking at? Well, 738 was a nice little spot for us last week. Below there, we had the 724s and then the 712s. And then also you have this 9-day EMA starting to creep up here. So even though we started to run away from it, the more we consolidate up here near these 750s, this 9-day EMA is going to come crawling higher. So that is going to be a spot that we're going to be watching, and we're going to see what kind of expansion and contraction we get with our 9-day EMA and our 50 SMA in here, right? So they're kind of spread out right now, but the more we consolidate in here, up here in the next few months, this 9-day EMA is going to come creeping up higher. This 50 days is going to come with it, and we're going to start to get a little squeeze in here. So we have to keep that in mind as well as we're looking at the overall markets. Obviously, everything is hinging on NVIDIA this week. Earnings coming up, nice big earnings catalyst, trying to be the first company with $6 trillion market cap. We're going to see what happens in here, but really a kind of a down day in the market, kind of red in tech and AI, things like that. We are down in NVIDIA almost 5%. We're trading in those 225s currently. First up on our ticket, we have to see, are we going to be on the right side or the downside in here going into Monday of the 225 level? That's going to be first, right? So if we gapping up, all right, cool. 225 is going to be our support. Resistance wise, we're going to be looking at the high that came in last week, 236. Anything outside of there, nice whole numbers, 240, 245, bam, easy. To the downside in here, though, this is where it kind of gets tricky. If we are trading below the 225, then obviously that's going to be our first resistance. But support wise, what are we looking at? Well, we got a multiple here we can kind of choose from, but we're going to be looking at the 217s, 216, 212s, and then the 202s. But we have to keep in mind we have this 9-day EMA right here. So this thing is going to come creeping higher. That is trading at 201.74. That should be our last line in the sand in here if we do get a big pullback off of earnings. So let's just say, hey, we get a big old double beat in here, but everybody's expecting it. Boom, this market's coming back down. Then obviously that 9-day EMA should hold a lot of weight just because of the support that it's by 202. And it's kind of wrapped in, it's kind of sandwiched in between a nice big support of 202 and that 200 cycle level. So it's going to be a nice little channel for us in there to kind of overall play with and kind of take a breather. Like, okay, once we get past here, all right, we're good. But if not, then anything outside of there, we're looking at 198 and then 195. So we're going to see what happens as we get closer to that overall earnings report, which is coming up Wednesday after market for NVIDIA. We're going to see how the overall market reacts to that. We also have news coming up with the Strait of Hormuz and things like that. Obviously, we're gonna get some better ideas of what's going to happen with US and China and things of that nature. So we're going to see overall what happens this week as all eyes are basically focused on NVIDIA earnings. So let's see what happens in here in the overall market and in NVIDIA. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.